The Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to The Final Plan, the show each and every Friday, most Fridays, where James and I run down the final bits and pieces before the game week deadline. And being that it's a Friday deadline today, I really hope between us publishing this, which might be 11 o'clock, and 7 o'clock deadline. I don't even know what time our kickoff was tonight. I'll tell you what.
Of course it's you tonight.
It's Sheffield United, West Ham on a Friday night deadline. And so, yeah, we've got a few little bits and pieces to discuss. Look at our differential team, North v South, and then straight into game week 22. That's what we're on, aren't we?
Yes, game week 22.
My birthday's the 22nd, so maybe it'll be a lucky game week for me.
Of this month?
No. Of October, but it's 22nd, you know what I mean?
Relevance.
Now everyone knows my date of birth. All you need is my postcode, and now you can clone me. So yeah, interesting week. Our Sheffield United correspondent, Tomo, messaged me yesterday evening, and I haven't replied back to him. He said, how are you getting on? How do you feel about today's game? I've got my reply ready to send. I just hadn't got around to Twitter, which is literally, we're going to smash you guys to pieces today.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think we should just go and take it as a hit to nothing. We're away from home. We're the underdogs in this game based on recent form. I think we should just go for it. Rather than try and soak up pressure and then try and hit them on the counter, I would like to see us just go for it tonight. And if we lose 2-0 or whatever, so be it. But I'd rather see us go for it tonight and see what happens. So, interesting Friday night football.
Good luck. Probably the worst thing my team, Spurs, can do tomorrow is go for it against Liverpool.
What can you do against Liverpool? It's hard, man. It's so hard.
It's worth saying very briefly, obviously, confirmation of the Kane hamstring injury news, which I don't know why there was such a meltdown yesterday, because you do your hamstring, you're going to be like at least 6 weeks minimum.
Yeah, 6 weeks if it's a strain. It's a tear.
Saying it's a tear. Back to training in April, 3 months. There is a possibility Harry Kane won't play football again this season. It's possible, I would suggest. Knowing him, he'll be back. I think we play Arsenal in game week 35. He always seems to come back from injury just in time for Arsenal.
You know who's going to buy Harry Kane, don't you? Manchild probably will buy him now. So I'll see Harry Kane's in the news. Let me buy him. So yeah, midweek we had the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Surprised to see Leicester didn't beat Villa, but and they played a full-strength team on the whole.
Yeah, it was interesting. Leicester went with a back three again. What's important to mention for Leicester, the thing that I really took out the game, obviously Villa stayed with back three as we expect them to now as well, is Ndidi's out for a few weeks or so. So Hamza Chowdhury, who come on at halftime, made a real difference, giving them a bit of a base and a holding midfield position. I don't know if they're going to stay with this back three, though. I think going back to wide players, be it even if it's a Jose Perez in a wide area, is going to be more beneficial for Leicester. I know I said last week you think with Chilwell and Pereira,
the wing-backs.
Yeah, it really suits them. But I'm not sure it suits the rest of the team. I'm not sure it suits people like Jamie Vardy, for example.
Or Barnes and...
One to watch. I guess there's a potential impact on Leicester defensively without Ndidi. But Chowdhury is a very good backup. Like, he'd walk into the Spurs side at the moment.
And James Maddison has a yellow flag at the moment, but we think he should be all right.
Well, it's a little bit unknown because he got a 93rd basically minute injury with a clash of heads, essentially. But then Rodgers said yesterday that he has got a knock. But his proper press conference is not till, I think, it's 1:30 today. Then we'll get. We'll know
exactly what is happening with him. Transfers. Talk to me about transfers and how you are setting up this week, alongside with what your captaincy choice is going to be. So, for those that haven't already listened to the show, if you
transfers done and dusted. I went Kane to Ings on New Year's Day evening. Grabbed a 0.1 off him. By, I think, worst case tomorrow, if not tonight, it will be a 0.2, and I'm happy to run with Danny Ings while he's fit for a longer term period. Yeah. And I've also removed Dele Alli for Sadio Mane for a -4 hit. And I will now be lining up this weekend with Ramsdale in goal, Trent and Robbo, John Lundstrom, Traore, Kevin De Bruyne, Sadio Mane, Wilfried Zaha, Jamie Vardy, Danny Ings, Marcus Rashford, Subs, Stekelenburg, Rico, Cantwell, Kelly. At the moment, the captaincy is on Jamie Vardy. I don't anticipate that changing. However, one thing to consider with the captaincy this week is once we get into game week 24, where 99% of us will be captaining a Liverpool asset, and then following fixtures in February, there's going to be a sustained period here where people are captaining Mane or Salah consecutively. In light of Spurs' injury issues, there is a strong case to go for Mane or Salah, I think, this weekend. Because it's one of the few times you're going to get in the next 6 game weeks or so where it's actually going to be a bit of a differential from a captaincy perspective. I think the majority will go for Jamie Vardy. The effective ownership will be massive. Southampton have obviously improved hugely since very early December. But I think people will look back at obviously the 9-0, the fact that Vardy scored a hat-trick in that fixture and not look too deep into it. By the way, it's his birthday tomorrow.
What is it, 33, 32?
I don't know. Players don't necessarily score on their birthdays, by the way. Some people, it's his birthday. So all the people were going in the week, Vardy's first game back after a baby. He's definitely going to score. And all those same people going, I don't know, he's saving it for his birthday, isn't he? Like, seriously, don't make your FPL decisions on these sort of things.
Yeah, if you do, you do. I made one transfer so far this week, which I removed my goalkeeper Edison and moved to Fabianski very early. And I have one more free transfer to make, which I haven't made yet because prices weren't moving. So I thought I'd just hold out till today. Raheem Sterling's on his way, and in will be coming Sadio Mane. So I'll line up with Trent and Robbo, Lundstrom at the back, Fabianski obviously in goal, Kevin De Bruyne, Maddison, Traore, Mane, Mope, Jimenez, Vardy, and then on the bench, Cantwell, Kelly and Rico.
Oh, different order. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a conversation now.
Yeah,
I've gone Rico first, sub Cantwell second. A lot of people obviously picking up on the fact Harry Maguire's going to be out for United and how... I mean, Phil Jones, bless him, at centre-half in the Manchester derby on Tuesday night. I mean, they got shot to pieces in that first half by City playing without a recognised striker, basically. And a lot of people picking up on that and are going to play Cantwell at Old Trafford, which I'm not against.
Yeah.
I just feel, personally, the other 11, I've got a stronger... And I would prefer a Rico, actually, ahead of Cantwell, which might seem an odd one. I just think this game's so important for Bournemouth.
I agree with you, but I saw them 2 weeks ago get terrorised by us, and they struggle with pace. I think Watford, if they're up for it, and the likes of Sarr and what have you, and Deeney are going to bully that back four at Bournemouth, they're going to concede goals. So I don't see anything from a defensive point of view. Yeah, Rico may pop up with an attacking return, but I don't think he's going to get any defensive points with the way Bournemouth's defence are and the way Watford are going to attack the game. So not one for me. Really.
On yesterday's clash of the correspondence with Adam at 352, our Arsenal correspondent, you said you think Arsenal win 3 or 4-0. You've got Martin Kelly second there. Now, I realise this probably doesn't matter, but a lot of people are going to be in the sort of Kelly or Rico decision process this weekend.
I just pick one or two of a bad couple of options there this week. I don't see either picking up points, but you know what happens when you bench them second and third? They pick up 6s and 8s and 9s.
Course, so absolutely. And to clarify, you're saying you're going to go Raheem Sterling to Sadio Mane this weekend?
Correct, I am.
Why?
I'm done with Raheem Sterling. I don't want to be without. It's FOMO, maybe a little bit, but I want to get Mane in now, and I'm going to be captaining Mane this weekend.
Okay.
So whereas if I keep Raheem Sterling, I'm not captaining him. If I'd probably end up with Vardy, but I don't want to captain Vardy.
Big call. So not only are you going to move Mane in for Sterling, you're also going to move the captaincy of Jamie Vardy to Mane.
Yeah, I don't think that you can look at that 9-0 and draw any conclusions because they were down to 10 men for so much of the game. They and Southampton are a different team now in terms of their pressing and the way they've set up defensively. Leicester have had to play a lot of football. They've had the midweek game as well where everybody's had the run out. look, it's not going to be. It's not going. No one ever thinks it's going to be a repeat of a 9-0, but I just don't think it's going to be as clear cut for Leicester.
No, not at all.
Yeah, for me, I'm
Not
just
at all.
thinking. You know what? People are looking at Jamie Vardy, and he has cropped up on a lot of videos online as the number one standout captaincy option. And sorry to say, I think people are overlooking Liverpool. I think Spurs are in a bad way. I know you're a top six club.
Mate. No,
I know.
we ain't at the moment.
I know, but in theory, when
Actually, I think we are sixth, actually.
people
Don't
rarely
feel like it.
will captain a player against the top six club. Rarely. You'd be like, okay, you know what? Let me find someone with a better fixture. In this situation, the gulf is big enough that I'm going to captain Sadio Mane. And it is a little differential. Let's see what happens.
So go on, score prediction tomorrow, Leicester Southampton.
It's going to be a goal in it. 1-0, 2-1, something like that. It's not going to be 3s or 4s.
And score prediction, deep breath, Spurs v Liverpool.
They'll score 2 or 3. Liverpool will score 2 or 3.
You don't think Leicester will?
It's more. I think Liverpool will score more than Leicester. Put it that way.
All right, that's fair enough.
I really do. I think it's going to be tricky.
Can't argue with that decision. You make me feel wonderful this morning.
Look, there is a caveat to that, and we know that Jose is the masterclass of setting a team up negatively to counteract. And in most scenarios, you'd say, look, stop being such a negative bastard and just play football. But when you're coming up against Liverpool, if you set up that way to just nullify them, like you play 5 midfielders and 5 defenders, so be it, because you've got to do something to nullify them. And if anyone's going to do it, you'd back Jose to be able to do it. But
if you want to hear what I'd do, go back and listen to Tuesday's Tottenham. Something unique in terms of I wouldn't play a centre forward. Mind you, we haven't got one at the moment in any case.
No.
I don't know whether Mourinho will go with a back 4 or a back 5 or a back 6. I don't know. And I think that's one of the reasons as well that there is an element of doubt in terms of what we'll get from Spurs this weekend. I think we can all sit here, be honest, and say, yeah, of course, expect Liverpool to win. But in terms of Spurs' setup, don't really know. And in the past, I've spoken about, obviously, times when I'd captained Harry Kane and not knowing how Pochettino would set up, and therefore, in hindsight, that being a mistake. I know exactly what I'm going to get from Southampton. And that makes me want to go Jamie Vardy. As much as they've improved recently.
What do you think on this week? You think it's high scoring, low scoring, middle of the road?
Middle of the road. There are a few, obviously, alternative captaincy options to Vardy and the Liverpool boys. Marcus Rashford has a very good fixture at home to Norwich. You've also obviously got KDB, Raheem Sterling away to Villa. There seems to be a little bit of momentum, people wanting to go to Riyad Mahrez, but being a bit scared of it, I think, because of the potential threat of rotation. Yeah, there's a few alternative options. Chelsea at home to Burnley as well. Burnley are on a shocking run. Tammy Abraham.
Yep.
So I think Vardy's effective ownership will be massive this week. That's the safe play. I think if you want to gamble, I'm not going to put you off Mane or Salah.
Let's talk about our differential team, the team that we've been picking all season, that we're only allowed to buy players less than 10% ownership. If they cross over 20% ownership, out they go. And there's quite a few interesting players in that squad that do have low ownership that we've been looking at. I bought Fabianski this week. If you listen to Twitter, you'd think that a lot of people have jumped onto Fabianski from the likes of Pope and what have you. He's still at only 2.7% ownership. The wider game hasn't really...
Noise.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where it's funny, where you think, you know what, everybody owns this guy. No, they don't sometimes. And that's where we can find players and sneak them into the differential team as well. Did anybody creep over 20% this week?
No.
Good.
We've not been having a great run recently.
No.
We've dropped right back to about 1.6 mil, unfortunately. And with a couple of issues, the midfield having been quite a strong source for us very recently, suddenly looks very weak. We gambled on Paul Pogba a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And seen nothing because he's back out injured again. I don't know if that's the priority to get rid of him first.
Yeah, I mean, it's too much money, nearly. Is it 8 or 8 and a bit he is? Too much money to tie up in somebody. He has to be one of your main point scorers if you're going to have Paul Pogba. So
we have 2 free transfers and 0.5 million in the bank. I think we want to be binning one of two players here, and I don't want to bin both yet. The other player to possibly bin is Gabriel Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's right with them going to Villa, because obviously if he was to start,
he'll score.
But then it's probably a 1-pointer, isn't it? I would favour it. It'll probably go Aguero. I would favour.
1 pointer of Jesus is better than a 0 pointer of Pogba. So let's get rid of Pogba.
Yep.
So we have 8.5, 9 million in the bank.
Now, what we need to be conscious of here is we own 2 Liverpool assets nicely in this team, which are Alisson and Firmino.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to add Joe Gomez to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're better off waiting till we get to 24.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to get to 24 with those 2 free transfers. So if we want to, we can take a gamble on an Anderson or an Allaire or an Antonio if he's back fit.
Sure,
exactly.
Sure.
So I only really want to make the one now. Now, if we sell Jesus, essentially gives us 2 forward options to me. Callum Wilson, 7.4 million, hasn't scored since about game week 6 or something. I think might
7. I think it was something like that.
Yeah. Or the obvious one, which is proving a popular differential in the community at the moment, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 5.9 million. Still quite lowly owned, about 3% or so. Do we drop Jesus down to Calvert-Lewin?
Well, what are the alternatives for Paul Pogba at that kind of price point?
Well, part of the reason why I think I want to go Jesus to, my preference would be Calvert-Lewin, in spite of Bournemouth's nice looking form.
And mine too.
Yeah. The reason I'd like to do that is I think the replacement for Pogba here is fairly obvious, but we can't get to him straight away unless we use both the free transfers, which we could.
And then roll next week, maybe.
One way of doing it. The obvious candidate's Son.
Yeah. What's his ownership now down to?
Oh, it's about 5%.
Okay. And
is that worth firing straight in for Liverpool and then say, I don't know, playing Son and leaving Dele Alli on the bench instead? Dele Alli is in this team as well.
I would always play Son over Dele Alli, but that's very much a personal preference rather than anything else from historic.
Or would we play both and leave, say, Tielemans or Zaha out?
Zaha, potentially I would leave out as the other
Ahead
alternative.
of Tielemans?
Well, he's yellow flagged right now, Zaha, right? But hopefully he should be fit.
So it could give us the extra strength in depth. I mean, defensively, we look great this weekend. Back 3 currently of Sidibe at home to Brighton, Doherty at home to Newcastle, Chilwell at home to Southampton.
And Alisson against Tottenham.
So obviously, we can go both. We could go Jesus to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Pogba to Son, and then there's loads in the bank to fix up. You know, we could get a stronger defender than Charlie Taylor, for example. Burnley have got a bad
or
run
maybe
coming
Gomez, we could afford him when the time comes. Let's make the 2 transfers, be bold, roll next week and go into 24 with 2.
Pogba to Son, Jesus to Calvert-Lewin, money in the bank. Captain. We're not going to captain Son or Ali against Liverpool, are we?
No, let's captain Firmino.
Firmino at Tottenham, yeah?
Yeah,
or,
why not?
Or alternatives would be Anthony Martial at home to Norwich, Calvert-Lewin at home to Brighton.
It'd be Martial over Calvert-Lewin for me, but I quite fancy Firmino maybe.
I've busted on Firmino.
So let's leave it at Firmino.
All right, cool.
How's your South team doing? North v South. I have the 10 most northerly teams in England, the better ones, and James has the southern teams, which is a bit of a struggle this season.
I don't know what the current difference is.
It's a lot. I was looking at it just now. I scored 55 last week, and you scored 48.
Brilliant.
It's 105 points difference now.
Oh gosh.
I'm going in this week with Pope, Trent, Robbo, and Mane. Fleck and Lundstrom, De Bruyne, Cantwell, Jimenez, Rashford and Vardy. That's good enough for a regular team, let alone a team where you can only pick out of 10 players.
Just as a reminder for yourself, because we are getting into chip time of the year.
Yes.
That the rules of this game, which the idea was given to us by Tom Campbell at Utterly TC,
are
that when you free hit,
you
have to free hit into the opposite team.
Oh, was that what
So
what he said?
You would have to free hit a southern team,
yeah,
and I would have to free hit a northern team. I thought that
Fine.
was just worth mentioning as a reminder. Not that anyone's suggesting doing that anytime soon.
Yep. It's a good 1 week differential.
Yeah, but I will probably have to play that differently to the... most people are probably going to use their free hit chip in blank game week 31, which is the same weekend as the FA Cup quarterfinals.
Whereas for you, I think any weekend where Liverpool and City are at home
basically,
and have good opposition is
just
the one to
fire
go for.
into them and go mad. Yeah, that's probably what I will do. So for myself, I've obviously got Harry Kane sitting in this team. Yay. I obviously need to bin him.
Get a Aubameyang then. It's very straightforward, surely.
I've got 2 free transfers, 7.9 million in the bank because I just can't even spend the money, and now I'm losing my most expensive asset as well. So I went into yesterday's Clash of the Correspondents with Adam and was kind of setting my mind beforehand that I would be propelling 2 Arsenal assets into this Southern team. Now, I asked Adam during the podcast, didn't say why, which defensive and which offensive assets he would recommend if someone was to dive into Arsenal.
Sure.
And he said defensively,
Maitland-Niles.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles at 4.6 million and Pepe at 9.1 million. So I'm going to go for Kolasinac and Aubameyang.
Yeah. Well, Pepe's a midfielder and you need a forward. So that doesn't help solve your Harry Kane problem.
Aubameyang for me in this team, stick him up front with Ings and Abraham, and I think those 3 are staying.
Yeah.
Bar injury for me going forward. I favour Kolasinac over Maitland-Niles. One of the things that Adam did say importantly on Maitland-Niles when he answered the question I asked him was that obviously at 4.6 million he offers great value currently. Look at the money I've got in the bank. I don't need to worry about it. I think he was attacking that answer specifically to say, well, there's other better options than Kolasinac at similar prices, such as Sidibe, for example.
Sure.
So I'll be going Kolasinac in for Matt Target.
No fear that Kolasinac will be leaving Arsenal this window? Serie A or anything?
No. Just get it back out. I mean, I've got 15 full players, haven't I? Because I'm not pissing about here with 3.9 million defenders in this team. I've got Gaeta and Fabianski, mate.
Yeah.
That's nearly 9.9 million on goalkeepers. I can't spend the money. So, yeah, Kolasinac and Aubameyang for me in that team. And then following week, I'll obviously, I've got excess. I'll move off Willian or Mount to Heung-Min Son.
Cool. So, good luck this week.
Thanks, mate.
Let's hope it closes the gap a little bit because that'll be useful. I may tweak up how I'm going to manage the team for the last 20 weeks of the season and only allow 1 from Liverpool or City or something like that, maybe. To make it a little bit closer to see what happens.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
Not much chance of that. Early thoughts on transfers for after this game week obviously in your main team?
No, I'm hopefully going to roll again. So I've been thinking about taking hits for so long that every week as it rolls around, I'm like, I'll do my mini wildcard stroke, take my hits next week and next week and next week, and I've still been kicking it along. I've got my eye on a few players. Sidibe is one in for Rico, potentially. So Rico, I want to.
I feel like you've been saying that for some time.
Yeah, and if I wanted to do it this week, I'd rather get Mane in this week. So Sidibe in for Rico is a potential. And then kind of look at maybe moving on Mopay, depending on how much money I have, maybe for Danny Ings or what have you. But I'll have triple Liverpool and a single West Ham for that double game week, and that's enough for me. 4 is plenty. So yeah, Sidibe is the one for Rico at the moment, but not looking at anyone else.
I need to bin Wilfried Zaha.
Time has come, eh?
The time has come. He's going to stay for me this week in spite of Palace's injury issues and obviously Arsenal's improved showings under Mikel Arteta so far. But I obviously want to bin him next week with 0.8 million in the bank. Can't make a direct move to Maddison. Now, if I remove Marcus Rashford next week, then I can downgrade quite significantly and go Zaha to Son. That's my immediate thought. If I go right down Rashford to Calvert-Lewin, then I can start making decisions about moving on Rico or Kelly for improvements, and then have flexibility, I think, more consistently between 3 and 4 at the back.
Yep. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks now until the 4th round of the FA Cup as well. And yeah, I want to just keep keep things steady until then, and then have a little bit more of an idea around doubles and blanks, and then start planning a little more around that. So I'm not looking to make major overhauls, no sky pun intended, between now and then, and see what happens from that round of FA Cup fixtures. When's your replay? Next week?
It's Tuesday night. It's been selected live on BBC One.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Must be that short.
You have no
FA Cup
choice
replays.
but to be there, though.
I do. There's always a choice.
Yeah.
But no, I'll be there. I'm always there.
20 quid?
Do you know what the thing is as well? So if we win, beat Middlesbrough, then our fourth round tie at Southampton has not been selected on the telly. We could win on penalties after a boring 0-0 draw on Tuesday, and as angry as I might be, first thing I'll do is book a train to Southampton. That's the state of me. Yeah.
West Ham with West Brom in the fourth round. Just to the guy that runs the mascot office at West Ham, thank you for your kind email offering me my son to be a mascot for £300 plus VAT plus buying the kit for the FA Cup game, let alone anything else. But I'll politely decline. And I think I should just drop him an email and say, forget about this, mate.
Talking of mascots, West Brom have a boiler, I believe.
A boiler?
Yeah. Go and check that out.
Fantastic. I think I'm gonna go to
they have
they haven't released tickets yet.
It's not an owl. I can't think of the animal they have. They do have like a mascot with
a bird.
Yeah, something like that. But they also have a man dressed in like a boiler, because one of their main sponsors, I think their main sponsor might be a boiler company or something.
Interesting.
I have seen that before. That's one to check out for you somewhere.
There we go. Good luck. Don't forget, 7 p.m. tonight, which is Friday, the 10th of September. Get your transfers in, get your team set up, get your captaincy set. And don't forget, because things can happen, after work beers and all that stuff, get it done by lunchtime and you'll be good. Keep an eye on the press conferences just in case. I'm sure that will all be over Twitter, and then we'll be good to go.
Everything press conference wise should be wrapped up no later than 2:00. So there's plenty of time if there's, for some reason Maddison's out for 2 weeks or something like that. Then I think most of us are probably in a position where we've got decent benches this week. So I wouldn't force, if that's the case with, say, Maddison, where he's ruled out this week, I'm not sure I'd rush to bin. No. I think I'd wait and take an assessment. And we'll be back next week with a full schedule, mate.
Same time, same place.
People's Poll Monday, main podcast Monday night, Tuesday Tottenham, Wednesday Sky, Thursday Clash of the Correspondents. I would say on paper, fixture-wise, the biggest one we'll have done so far is my cap plan, FPL Loco Lord, Liverpool versus Manchester United.
Feisty.
Well, they won't be the lads because they're great lads, but yeah.
We'll try and wind them up.
To be honest, it's not going to go well for my cap plan with the state of it at the moment. Obviously, we'll be back with another final plan next Friday morning.
Exactly. Thank you for tuning in. Do hit like, subscribe, share the podcast with all your FPL playing friends. We appreciate all of the feedback that we get. Thank you very much. Ciao for now.
Cue is it, Rancho. Good luck, everybody.
The Fantasy Football Show.